All right. Did you guys get the notification that we were recording? Very good. Normally I hear her. She didn't say anything to me tonight. That's okay. All right. So welcome you guys. My name is Lindsay Gray. I am so excited for you to be here. I have been doing opportunity calls like this in this setting for about 10 years. I've talked on stage in front of hundreds of people about health and fitness and wellness and about things that I love. And speaking to others about what I believe in and my passion is something that's huge. The thing that I want to tell you today is that this is the first time I'm ever doing it in a new space. And some might think that that comes with nervousness, or they might think that my friend this weekend told me, like, you are just so brave with what you're doing. And I was like, you know what? I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be sharing this. I'm not nervous because somebody once told me when I started a long, long time ago that nerves, fear, and excitement, it literally is the same thing that's happening inside of your body. It's the same hormone, it's the same release. And all you have to tell yourself is, I'm excited. Remember why you want to give the information, and fear and nerves, they all step aside. So I'm sharing that with you today because I'm hoping that with the information you receive from Allie and I, that you will take that little nugget that stayed with me years ago and know that if this is on your heart to share with anyone, whether it's for health or whether it's for the income opportunity or whatever it's for, that all you need to do is be excited. And that is something that I think we have in 2023 that is so beautiful, is that the digital space is the way of the world to share with others what is seriously working. And I think it's beautiful that women around the world are finally accepting that when we're out here sharing, we are not just, I wrote this down earlier when I heard it, we are not reaching out to people because we want something from them. We are extending this invitation to people because we want something for them. Hi, Stella. And for the first time in forever, I feel like in 2023, people are really open to that. So I just want to, first of all, say congratulations to you for being open to learning something new, if that's what you're here for being willing to maybe expand your knowledge in a holistic sense, or also expand your knowledge and your horizons for your family in an income sense. So we are going to talk today about some really fun stuff. I love seeing all these faces jump on. So many that I love. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. If you don't know me, and Allie's not prepared for this, I'm a talker. I said, we're aiming for 20 minutes, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. But I'm going to do the best that I can. So I am a recently single mama of 2 boys. I homeschool them, and I live in the Chicago.
So this is my life coach.
Hi, Trisha. My family, I am Trisha's life coach. I love her. I got you, girl. There you go. My boys are 10 and 6. I'm from Michigan. I'm a farm town, small girl plopped in the suburbs with my 2 boys and no family around me. And I have a lot going on. So I have been building a business for years in the wellness industry. And in the last 3 years, something shifted in my life. And that was, I became separated from my ex. And in that separation, I started feeling waves of anxiety and desperateness that I had never felt in my life. And my 10-year-old looked at me one day. He's 10 now. He was probably like 7 when he said this to me. He's wise beyond his years. And he said, "You're just not even my mom." And I was like, "What? I am your mom." And I was in this fit of panic where, like, I felt like no one was listening to me. I couldn't control anything. So I just wanted to crawl outside of my skin. And the amount of times he had seen me crying on the kitchen floor was something that I told myself I would just have to continue to try to forgive myself for, because your 7-year-old shouldn't be the one hugging you and comforting you in those moments where you are so broken, right? So I looked at him and I said, "I am your mom. Like, I am the same person." And he looked at me and he said, "No, you are not my mom. Like, you're my mom, but you're not my mom." And in that moment, I knew that I was drowning. I was lying to myself for so long. I'm surviving, but surviving is a great thing. We should all survive, but we should be thriving. I actually made up a new word the other day, thriving. So if anyone wants to use it, go ahead, because I'm going to use it all the time and it's going to be great. So for me, 10 and a half years ago, I started with a wellness business and I loved it. It brought me home with 6-figure earning business after a year and a half. It grew ever since then. 3 years ago, this shift happened and I started seeing shifts happen in my business. I thought it was a direct correlation to how I was feeling on the inside in my life. So I felt like I was failing. I'm failing in my marriage. I'm failing as a mother. I'm failing in my business. But as time went on, I started realizing that there were shifts in areas that I wasn't seeing. And I started seeing a repetitive downward spiral. And I was scared because as a single mom, that's my sole income. But what happened was, and if any of you here are divorced, if you've ever had a baby, if you've ever done a huge life thing that you had to just be so brave and you got to the end of it in your life, like if I can do that, I can do anything, right? The gift that the divorce gave me was that a few months ago, I was still feeling some of those very terrifying, like debilitating feelings of I'm straddling the fence of depression. Anxiety is taking over. And I saw one of my best friends talking about CBD. And I've tried CBD in so many different ways, and it never really did anything for me. And we're going to talk about that shortly. But I reached out to her and I was like, I don't know who I am right now, and I need your help. Like you're talking about this and I want to know about the products. And so she told me about the products. She told me how much it's been saving her. She's been a friend of mine for 9 years. So I knew if it was helping her, she was telling the truth. I believed her. I said, I'm going to try the products. And something tapped me on the shoulder that day and said, ask about the business. And never in a million years, if you know me, I always said I would never leave my other company. I never, ever would. But I believe when we can give ourselves permission to leave a relationship, when we can give ourselves permission to have a baby, when we can give ourselves permission to have huge trajectory shifts in our lives, we realize that we can give ourselves permission to change direction at any given time. And we can give ourselves permission in that same time to have success be our only option. So I listened to her business opportunity call and I started crying. It was the first time I felt emotion about a business in over 3 years as I stood in the space I was in my other business. And I watched myself being the only people succeeding, myself being the only person hitting the monthly quotas, myself being the only person rank advancing. And as great as that was, my income was going down and no one around me. The women weren't succeeding. And I said, I need a space where I can succeed, but not only I want to change Jules' life. Like I want her to succeed. And I want, Sam to succeed. I want to see them. I'm sick. I don't care. I know I will succeed. I know I will. It's my only option. I need the others that I love and I'm leading. I need them to succeed too. So it has to be the right product, the right business, the right time, the right company, and the right comp plan. So hit me with everything you got. And she showed me and I cried. I enrolled and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And my heart was pounding out of my chest a few weeks ago when I hit cancel on a business that I put 10 and a half years into. But right after that happened, I've felt nothing but excitement and freedom since. And the amazingness that so many people have been experiencing alongside of me is something that I know, like that this was whatever you believe in, this was a universe thing, this was a God thing, this was an on purpose thing. And I'm so, so grateful for it. So if you were invited here today, know you were invited here today. Obviously you were, you wouldn't be here, right? But or you might have just like clicked a link. I don't know. But however you got here today because somebody doesn't want something from you. Somebody wants something for you. And you came here because you want something for you. So please just listen with an open heart, ask any questions, and know that myself, as well as Allie, who you're going to meet here shortly, are here to just share our openness and love you exactly where you're at with wherever it is that you decide to fly after this. We just want to give you our best information. So with that being said, I told you I'm a little bit of a talker. We're going to talk about the company a little bit. So Green Compass is the company that I have partnered with, that Allie has been with now for 4 years. And this company was started by a mother who was looking for a quality CBD for her kids. Her name is Meredith Cook. Her and her husband Sterling co-founded, or they were the founders, I get confused, of Green Compass. They were looking for a CBD, a clean CBD for their children. Yes, CBD is in our bodies. Cannabinoids, our receptors are all over our bodies. It's in breast milk. It is safe for kids. This is something for anything that for animals and humans, right? So she was looking for a clean CBD. She couldn't find one up to her standards. So they decided that there was a space that they could fill. And together they created Green Compass. So I'm going to see exactly where I'm at with this. I just saw Tabitha jumped on. Hi, Tab. So the CBD industry is extremely unregulated. Just so you guys know, I don't know if you know this, but anyone can basically slap something into a bottle and say that it's CBD. The amount of CBD out there that has just different things in it that you wouldn't even guess is the reason why often so many people say that we actually don't, I've tried CBD and I haven't actually felt anything, right? I don't know, do any of you kind of feel that way, that you've tried it and maybe you haven't really felt much, or you've heard other people say that? So it's definitely an unregulated industry. So the 4 things I want to cover that set us apart are, number 1, our CBD is USDA certified organic. And not only the CBD, not only the hemp, but in a 5-mile radius, the soil is also certified organic. The reason this is very important is because hemp is a scavenger plant. So it literally absorbs everything around it. So pesticides, metals, heavy metals, anything around it, it's going to absorb. So think about the CBDs that are out there in the gas station, in the dispensaries, in the places that we're supposed to touch, that it's an unregulated industry, and they're taking CBD and putting it in these bottles, and people don't know that they're using this to try to feel better, and what has actually been absorbed in this plant and is now in these products. So this USDA certified organic is very important, including the soil with the 5-mile radius being as well. Number 2, we are vertically integrated. I had no idea what that meant. And I was so excited to say those 2 words together tonight. I didn't know what that meant, but it means basically we are completely farm to family. So we plant it, we grow it, we harvest it, we extract it, we bottle it, we package it, we ship it. No one touches it except us. There's actually a 5-minute farm to family video that I love that shows the farmers that are just so down to earth out there with their machetes, cutting down the plants, picking it themselves. And that is something that I am proud to share with so many, because I can trust that. And it's something that isn't coming from bulk orders from China, because that does happen with our CBD as well. Number 3 is the extraction process. So we use CO2 for the extraction process, which majority of people use alcohol. So we use CO2. So that is the cleanest method to date. And having the cleanest and most high quality of product is extremely important, because Meredith, I met her at an event recently. She's the sweetest thing in the world. And she said, if I cannot give it to my children, I cannot give it to the world. And that is what it is. And so I love that with the extraction process. And then number 4 is that we only use the hemp flower. When I heard this part, I was extremely happy. This was one of my favorite things, because so many other CBDs that you're not feeling much from, they're using other parts of the plant, the stem, the seeds, and the other parts, the leaves, right, to make it more quantity. But what that does is it lowers the quality. So our farmers actually hand pick the flower only and use only the flower in our product. So you are getting the highest quality across the board, meaning people are going to feel it. People are going to get the effects, and you can trust giving it to every single person you love. And that is something that was extremely important for me to stand by. So speaking of the products, I'm just going to touch on a couple, and then I'm going to hand it over to Allie. I'm sure I've already gone the 20 minutes. Nope, not yet. Because I was only supposed to do 10, I'm sure. So with the products, we have the CBD oil, which are our tinctures. A lot of people are familiar with tinctures. When we think of CBD, I think a lot of people think of tinctures. When people think of gummies or jellies, they typically think of like something else. You're taking them for something else, right? Well, we have a couple methods, delivery methods, and one is the tincture. So that we have different strengths, 3 different strengths and flavors. You put that under your tongue for 60 seconds. It does take a little bit longer to set in as a tincture, but then the longevity is longer, up to 24 hours. And what I love about this product, as well as all of our products, is they have a QR code on every individual product that you get. You can scan the QR code and it will tell you exactly what is in each and every bottle. And so that is really nice because you always know what you're getting, the exact amount of everything in that bottle. We also have the nano jellies. So the jellies are water soluble. So this is important because it's for max absorption. My mind was blown when I heard that the average absorption for a gummy or a jelly for CBD is 5%. Majority of them are 5%. Our absorption rate is 90 to 95% because of the water soluble and then the nanotechnology that shrinks the molecules so that your body absorbs it more and the efficacy is higher. So then we also have, that is in the broad spectrum, which means there's no traces of THC in that. That is THC free. But then we have the full spectrum nano jellies, which are kind of newer in the last year, to my understanding, and these are amazing. And they have 0.3% THC, which is the legal limit. They basically feel like a glass of wine or two is how I would describe them for maybe about 30 minutes. And then it's just this, you guys, it saved me from the kitchen floor multiple times in the last month. I've been so grateful as I've moved through some finalities in my divorce process. And there was a day that I just said, I got to do that. This is my answer today. And all of a sudden I was outside playing with my kids laughing and it was a real laugh. And that was one of the moments I knew like, okay, like this, I got to be loud about this, right? People need to know about this because how many mothers do I know get to a certain point in their life and they're like, I feel like I don't even remember my kids' ages 2 to 5 because I was just trying to keep up, right? And I don't know if you can relate to that, but the full spectrum nano jellies have a dual effect. And I think this is awesome. So the jellies tend to hit a little bit quicker. They'll hit in about 15 minutes and then they'll hit around like the 4-hour mark again. So with the jelly or a gummy, you get a quicker hit, but like a shorter time frame. And with the tincture, takes a little longer to set in, but then it lasts longer. So this is a dual effect. You're going to get a quicker onset and up to 24-hour effect with our full spectrum nano jelly. So the longevity is great and people love these. These are really great for anxiety. Some people use them during the day and it gives them energy. If you're anything like me and you're just go, 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 I take them at night and I'm out and I've never slept better. So with that, we do have a bundle that if you guys are kind of new to this and you're wanting to try, we do have a buy one, get one, typically is kind of how it would go. It's a $99 bundle where you can get the broad spectrum and the full spectrum together at a price that's pretty much buy one, get one free. Try both of those. It comes with a cute little holiday jar right now too. And you can get a mixture of either the jellies or the tinctures. And we also have our CBG collagen in there too. So I'll share more about that another time. But with that being said, I've talked long enough and I've had so much fun doing it. So if you guys have any questions, you can pop them in the chat, hold on to them until the end. We will answer them. But I'm going to hand it over to Allie, who is going to tell us all about the business opportunity.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm Allie. I live in Virginia Beach. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it feels wild to say that, but I, like Lindsay, was with another direct selling company for years and years, swore up and down that I was a lifer with that company, even though I did not have the quote unquote success. And I worked really, really hard day in, day out with the full-time job. And I finally got to the point though, where I was working my full-time job. I'm a mom of 2, taking care of the house, the husband, all the things. And I was like, okay. So I gave it all of my effort, all of my time for years. Why am I not seeing any payoff? And I really had to do a gut check. And I said, is it me? Am I giving it my all? And about the same time, I saw my friend kind of posting on social media about CBD, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, no, no. And it really didn't make sense for me. I was kind of naive to the fact of what CBD was, what it did. I thought, okay, I was a principal, there's no way I could, go to school selling that. But what I didn't know was the significance of the booming CBD industry and the significance of joining a company or this type of business model in the beginning stages where like that true momentum was. So I followed my friend on social media for about 6 months, and I no longer could sit back. She had grown this massively huge, successful business. And I was like, okay, I need to at least ask questions or I'm not doing myself any favors here. And during that conversation, I learned a couple things and it kind of blew my mind. I learned what CBD was. It was not marijuana. It was a hemp-based product that wasn't going to make me feel any kind of psychoactive effects. It was going to heal me from the inside out. It was something that I could give my kids, my 7-year-old struggles with getting on the bus each day because he has a little bit of anxiety. And it was something that was going to help him and me and my husband and my parents. I learned that the CBD industry has an annual growth rate of 21%, and it's expected to grow to a $47 billion market by 2028. Like that is huge. If you're a numbers person, like that growth is almost unheard of. I learned that Green Compass has a 73% customer retention rate. And this kind of was mind-blowing for me from being in direct sales and having like that when you're, selling a product. The norm is about a 30% customer retention rate, but we are more than doubling that here. So it just proves that we have something that people are ordering. They love the benefits of it and they're reordering. And that just means that the people that are coming in and using this as a business model are really profiting and seeing the business grow each month. I also learned that, Green Compass had a consulting firm and they came in and they saw their numbers and they projected them they were going to do about $300,000 their first year. Well, Green Compass did 1 million in the first 45 days and then 12 million that first year. And we've doubled it every year since. And then lastly, when she was having this conversation with me, excuse me, I learned about the compensation plan, and I'm not going to go into depth. So, if you want to message me or Lindsay or anybody afterwards, by all means do that. But there was 2 things that really stuck out to me when she was explaining the compensation to me, because I had looked at many different plans and, they're all pretty much the same. You sell this, you make this. But that was, we have a check match system and a placement suite system. And so the check match was just this other layer of bonus that rewarded you on top of everything else. And so if you came in and really wanted to work this as a full-time business, which is something I decided I wanted to do, like it was going to reward me over and over again. And then placement suite, which Lindsay kind of touched on this a little bit. Placement suite was an option for people that, it really, if I were to come in and recruit, and then I had some people underneath of me come in, I could help them build. And it creates this culture that we all get to work together versus one person at the top having all the success and then everybody underneath not. And that was really important for me because I didn't want to be with another company where it was just that one person having all the success and everyone else just kind of like dabbling a little bit. And so when I heard about these 2 things, I could not unhear them. And I was kind of like sold, and I jumped in with 2 feet. What was really interesting for me is I was a teacher. I worked in education for 12, 13 years. I was used to working, side hustles outside of the home, but that meant 10, 12-hour days away from my kids, away from my husband. And this really allowed me to pull in the income that I needed to have a more flexible budget but I was able to do it from my couch, while my kids were watching, Christmas movies or whatever it may be. And then when I really got to work and I got in, I was kind of blown away at what happened. So, and it just proves the momentum of getting in. Again, I already said this, but getting in early during the early stages, and that really helped launch my business. But I got in, and within 3.5 months, with no prior experience of building a team, I had an organization that was doing over $100,000 a month in sales. And then 4 months after that, we were doing $250,000 a month in sales. And now we're doing $500,000 a month in sales. And like, as somebody who comes from the complete other end of the spectrum, I would have laughed if you would have told me this is my life, like right now. Like, it was not something I ever expected. And then, a year ago, when my family, needed me the most, I was able to step away from my 13-year career in education. And I'm so grateful for the time that gave me with my family. And so I hope that you guys know that this really is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's like almost like if someone asked you to invest, in Apple right when it came about, or Microsoft right when it came about. And it's not because, like Lindsay said, we want something from you. We really want something for you. And so I hope that resonates with you, and that you can see, regardless of where you come from, your background, experiences, knowledge of CBD, like this really can be for you. And I think we're just going to open it up really quickly for some Q&A. If you guys have any questions about the business, CBD, anything like that.